Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and the show must, joining me is my podcasting sister my podcasting sister from another mister. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? I'm only drinking Diet Coke. This is weird. The co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend.
We are Dork. It is time for our Oscar edition. So the Academy Awards are today. So if you're listening to this on the day the episode drops out, the Oscars are on Sunday, and I totally wasn't paying attention. It snuck up on me. So at the last minute, we decided to do 1998's Shakespeare in Love to go in our series with Crash and American Beauty. Yes, that's what we did.
Yeah.
And kind of, I'm going to say undeserving Oscar winners series. Do you think this movie is deserving of its Best Picture Oscar?
I'll say this. I just watched it now for the first time in at least 20 years. Has it been that long? I mean, it's. I don't think I saw it in the theater. I know I rented it.
Yeah,
I know I've seen it.
It's a little over 20 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a really, really long time. I forgot what it was about.
Math is hard.
I found it very watchable.
Yeah, it's not that it's like total garbage. It's
I don't think it is at all.
It's just 23 years, by the way. I had to do the math or it was going to keep me up tonight. It's not total garbage. It's just when I compare it to some of the other movies that were nominated that year, I feel like it is undeserving of its win.
So tell me what was nominated that year, and then we can start going through Shakespeare in Love. And I should warn you, by the way, I forgot to tell you this.
Yeah.
It's DMX's funeral is in Brooklyn, like 2 miles from my apartment.
Oh.
So there's been helicopters going off all afternoon. I walked by there. I was like, where are all these black people dressed in nice suits and everything? Like, what's going on? I'm like, it's the DMX funeral.
Oh my gosh, it's so close to you.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, if you hear the helicopter, just,
it's fine.
Give a shout out to DMX.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. DMX. So Shakespeare in Love was nominated for Best Picture. It beat the favorite was Saving Private Ryan.
Okay, that's it. Right. Okay, it's bullshit then. Yes.
Yeah. So then the other movies were Elizabeth, which is also really good. The Thin Red Line, which I thought was kind of boring. I know. By the way, people fucking love that movie. I know, like, there's like Terrence Malick, like diehards out there, but I thought it was kind of boring. And then the other one is Life is Beautiful, Roberto Benigni's movie.
Oh God, what a piece of shit! I hated that movie.
That was such.
Oh my God, such a crazy time for movies.
Such a weird movie. By the way, I actually really like Roberto Benigni movies. Like, I've seen other ones, and I'm like, I think he's really funny. That is a weird movie. It is a weird movie. If you haven't seen it, it's like he's Jewish and he's in a concentration camp with his young son, and he doesn't want his son to be traumatized, so he tries to make it like fun. And do you remember this?
I do remember this, and I remember, and I had a heated argument with somebody because I just thought it was weird and dumb.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the liberties that it took to tell its story. I'm not a Roberto fan. He annoys the shit out of me. He's not my thing. Let's just say that he's just not my thing.
You know what? He is an acquired taste 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so I super loved though Saving Private Ryan. Like, that changed my life. I remember being in the movie theater and just sobbing hysterically.
It's
and
such a good movie.
It's such a fantastic movie, and I was pissed off. And I used to hate Gwyneth Paltrow because I was like, she's annoying. I don't like her. And we talked about her on our other show about Goop.
You're still not wrong. I have a very mixed relationship with Gwyneth Paltrow in that I super love her movies.
Yeah.
But her personally, I'm like, shut up, Gwyneth.
She's really good in this movie.
She is.
She's really, really good. I mean, it's a very entertaining story.
Mm-hmm.
I think the supporting actors are fantastic. Ben Affleck is really good. He's playing like a douchebag actor.
It's
and
so
he's
funny.
Good.
I feel like at the time I dismissed the Ben Affleck part.
Same.
Where I was like, man, that's just like a Miramax thing where they're putting Ben Affleck in there to like, get a little extra box office or something. I kind of dismissed it. I really appreciated that performance way more this time because I don't think I've seen this since the theater. And I do think Gwyneth Paltrow's really good in it, and she won the Oscar, and that's fine. Like, she was really, really good in it. But I texted you while I was watching it because I think William Shakespeare in this movie is a real fucking dick. He's such a dick.
So what are your problems with him? Like, how is he presented in the movie? Let's talk about how he's presented in the movie, and then you can tell me what your problems are.
Okay. So if you haven't seen the movie, it takes a lot of liberties with Shakespeare. I'm not like some Shakespeare expert, by the way. This is just what I know, is that it takes a lot of liberties with like Shakespeare's history and his writing process and all these things. And he is like kind of still a little bit of a struggling playwright at this point. Like he's like he's lying to all these people, like, I'm writing you a play just to like get money. And he's like fucking everyone over, which I was like, he's such a dick. And so then he needs a muse. That's what's going on in this movie. And he is inspired by Gwyneth Paltrow's character Viola, right? Yeah, okay. And he immediately like starts writing, but why I thought he was a dick was, one, he's fucking over like everybody, right? He's like, I'm going to write for you. I'm going to write for you. They're paying him and he's just fucking everyone over. Also, he's married, but
yes, he is.
But he's left his wife. And then he kind of gives Gwyneth Paltrow's character a little bit of shit for the fact that she's betrothed to someone else. Like there's like a scene where she's like, what am I supposed to do? Marry you? And he's like, oh, like it would be so terrible for you to be married to like a poor player or something. And I was like, you're already married. You can't marry her anyway. So stop it. Stop it. Maybe I'm not in the right headspace for this movie. I will go on record with that. But like, I was like, he's kind of a dick that way. And then, spoilers for Shakespeare in Love, for a movie that's 23 years old, he is going around bad mouthing the Rupert Everett character, Christopher Marlowe, and giving and doing shitty things and kind of using his name that ultimately results in his murder. And I'm like, that's fucked up too. He's kind of a dick.
He is kind of a dick. I'm in a weird headspace myself.
Yeah.
In that I have a writing deadline coming up.
So you can relate. Okay.
I can actually relate. I'm actually like when he's like, yeah, I gotcha. I'll be right back. I feel like that. Like when people ask for you. So I can, having the writer's block, feeling like lacking that flow. I totally get that about him. Yeah, I don't think it's great that he gets Marlowe killed. I'm not into that at all. I don't know I don't know how to say this, but like, I love their charisma together. I think they look great together. I think their love scenes, but also Romeo and Juliet's one of my favorite Shakespeare works. And I know people say, oh, that's the easy thing to understand or whatever. It's kind of considered high school level, but that's about the level of Shakespeare I can understand.
Romeo and Juliet is super famous for a reason. It's really, really, really good.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful language. And I liked the idea of Gwyneth. I think it's a little weird where nobody knows that's Gwyneth Paltrow. Ever.
She doesn't,
because she's still a pretty girl. Like just because you cut her hair off.
She doesn't look like a boy.
No, not at any point. And that's a fake mustache. I mean, it's very weird when everyone is like, oh, that's a guy. Yeah, that's a dude. And she's well, at a time women couldn't be in theater. And so all the parts were played by men, and they, especially young boys, would play women before their balls dropped and their voices changed. But that was like the way the world was. And she's somebody that's super appreciative of poetry and acting and writing. And so for her, she's such a high noble chick that she's in the
chick.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm not English, if you can tell.
That's fine.
She's, in the bourgeoisie. She's somebody that, and she interacts with the queen.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the room with the queen quite often. And and they see plays is it Queen Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Judi Dench plays her.
Yes. And she won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for her 6 minutes of time in this movie.
And she's good in those 6 minutes.
But she's so good in those 6 minutes. Exactly.
I want to cap on some shit, but I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, he's a dick. He's got a wife back home. So did Shakespeare. He had a wife and a child, and then he took off for years saying, I'm just writing some plays. I'll see you. If he indeed wrote them. I mean, there's a whole story about how he probably didn't.
Right.
Because he was raised by illiterate people out in the farmland and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I just this is the movie that it presents us. I don't like that Christopher Marlowe gets killed, but this movie isn't afraid to have really dark shit in it on top of this romance. I think there's big themes going on here about personal expression, about living the life you really want and breaking free of tradition. I think that her character is very pragmatic. She's engaged, she's betrothed to this douchebag who wears an earring of all things. And
so that's a weird thing too. I was like, what? And it's played by Colin Firth, who is very good at playing these kinds of characters. I think he's a very handsome man. He's not handsome in this movie. He's
not fuckable.
He is not fuckable. He is a total douchebag.
He's a total douchebag. So she's betrothed to him, and she's sad about it. But then look, she needs money. She wants position. She wants security, is what she really wants. And William Shakespeare ain't good with security. He's a good, they're having fun in the sheets. They're having a good time, but he's not exactly somebody you're going to be able to count on when the flame starts to die out. He's not going to be there. I think she knows that.
Yeah. I actually tend to like everything else around the movie more than Shakespeare. So it's not like I watched the movie and I was like, what a huge piece of shit. I fucking hate it. I still don't think it should have won over Saving Private Ryan, but that's fine. But I like you said, Gwyneth Paltrow is really, really good in this movie. And I have so much empathy for her and how shitty it must be to have your decisions made for you. Yeah. Even something like who you're going to marry. That fucking sucks. I think Jeffrey Rush is really funny in this movie.
He's hilarious.
I like Tom Wilkinson's character is this mobster who Jeffrey Rush owes money to. So then he kind of lets him be a partner in the play. And then as he spends more time in the theater, he becomes totally enamored with the theater. Yeah. And they give him up. I thought that was really funny as because it's a good arc for him. He actually has a funny little arc where he just falls in love with the theater. There's a really small part with a tailor who has a stutter. Yeah. And then he finds his voice on stage that I thought was it's small, but it's such a cool little moment that I really, really enjoyed that stuff. And Gwyneth Paltrow is beautiful in this movie.
She is luminous.
Yes.
I mean, those hair, the tendrils of her curls of her hair. There's scenes where she looks anyway, she's not wearing a speck of makeup. Yeah. And she's gorgeous. I mean, that swan-like neck that she has. I mean, she's gorgeous. She's perfect for the part. Well, the gossip is that she supposedly found the script at Winona Ryder's apartment, or they were really good friends. Yeah. And then she's basically had her agent read for it. But I think she does a great job. I think it was originally supposed to be Julia Roberts. She wanted to do it with Daniel Day-Lewis. But Daniel Day-Lewis is like, nah, I'm going to do serious pictures. So that's why we have the cast that we have. But Joseph Fiennes is really good. He's a shit, Shakespeare's a shit.
Yeah.
But he plays him very well. He's very charming.
Yeah, it's not not his fault. I will say that Shakespeare rubbed me the wrong way. It could be I could watch this movie a couple years from now and I'll be like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's like where you are in your life. It's quite often that with the movies, like what's the problem that he has?
Yeah.
And you're seeing that he's married and he should be not fucking around on.
Well, it's not even that. It's like, I understand like their marriage, maybe it sounds like their marriage didn't work out. And
but he has a kid.
Yeah. But he's kind of pursuing Gwyneth Paltrow with the idea that they could be together and maybe she could marry him. But she can't because he's already married and he's like keeping that from her. And so that I thought was kind of, it's just a little thing that I was like, that's kind of shitty. And then the other thing, and I know we're supposed to think it's funny, but he seems to get his ideas from everyone else.
Yeah. And I kind of like that. Yeah. I thought that was funny.
He's just the dude who happens to be writing it all down in order so that people could read it. Like, he doesn't even get the title from, like, Ben Affleck's character gives him the title. And I feel like Viola is the one who's constantly saying these very quotable lines that he is writing down. So, which is, I think, funny. The idea that, like, he wasn't this, like, super amazing poet or something. It's just, he was a good listener.
He was a good listener and he always needed a muse. And he went through a lot of women to whenever he needed to write a couplet or something, or a sonnet, he found a girl, he was a player.
Yeah.
He was a player. That's what it was. And then he falls in love with Gwyneth Paltrow's character right away.
And who wouldn't, by the way?
And who wouldn't? She's stunning. And she's smart and she's, she can keep up with him. And she decides she's going to be in the play. And so she's going to play Romeo. And then there's a young actor playing Juliet. And then the day that they're going to do it in front of a crowd of packed theater. I love the theater scenes. Like that whole thing when they're putting on the play, I really enjoy.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way to end it. And all of a sudden, like the guy that's playing Juliet, he's like, I'm losing my voice. He can't do the, Mrs. Brady, I'm so sorry.
It's time to change.
And I like it that Gwyneth Paltrow gets married, goes to the theater with her nurse. Okay, who plays her nurse? Is that Imelda?
It's Imelda Sutton. Is that how you pronounce it? Imelda Staunton. Staunton. Thank you.
She's also in the Harry Potter movies.
Yes. And I read in the notes that her husband plays the nurse on the stage. That's her husband from Downton Abbey.
Oh, that's right. Okay. And so all of a sudden Gwyneth Paltrow's in the audience with her nurse, and then she just they don't have a Juliet. She goes, okay, I'll do it. And so she's in this beautiful gown and just shows up on stage. And when they put on that performance, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. I'd love to be there for that. They do it beautifully. And I love it when he's like, Romeo is, and all of a sudden Imelda Staunton, just her nurse, says, Dad!
I laughed out loud at that part too. Like, she's so invested in the story, and yeah, she just blurts out, he's dead!
I just thought it was really enjoyable. I think the costumes are great. I think it ends on the right tone. Like she's going to do her thing. He's going to do his thing. She's inspiring him for the next thing he wants to write. I think they had a wonderful fling.
Yeah. And
then they're going to go on and do their own thing. And I don't think that's a bad message. And I just totally liked it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't super hate it. Shakespeare does not work for me this time. But everything around Shakespeare works. And I understand why it won things like for Judi Dench, even though it's not that much screen time. I'm like, it doesn't matter because she hangs over that whole movie because she's so good.
She's so believable as the queen.
In the times you see her. And, Gwyneth Paltrow is so great in this movie. I'm looking up to see who she was nominated against. And it's like Cate Blanchett for Elizabeth.
Wow.
And she's really great in that movie, too. All these people are good. Well, all right, I'm going to keep going. There's a movie called Central Station. It's like Fernanda Montenegro.
Didn't see it. Sorry.
See it. Meryl Streep, One True Thing. I'm like,
I don't even know what that is.
That's the one with like Renee Zellweger, and she's like the mom who's dying.
Oh, and she makes her kid go home to take care of her, and her husband. Yeah, quit your job, just take care of your mom.
Yeah, I don't. William Hurt's her husband in it. Yeah, no.
It really made me mad.
Yeah, Meryl Streep is really good in everything. I get it, but
yeah,
it's not something you'll go back to. And then the last one is Emily Watson in a movie called Hillary and Jackie.
I like that movie. It's an intense movie. And it's about, I think, sister.
Yes.
They're both musicians.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I have seen this one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I could see why Gwyneth Paltrow won. Like,
absolutely.
Because, like you said, she's amazing in it, and she's super beautiful. And she didn't win because she's beautiful, but
no, she could do the part.
Yeah.
But when she's playing it as a boy, I mean, she does it very well, and she reads it very well. She's just very believable. I like her chemistry with Shakespeare. I think they look great together. I get the passion that they have for each other. It doesn't feel fake to me, and I kind of, I'm not the big like chick flick kind of person either. But there's enough there that's like smart. There's enough that's satirical about whether or not Shakespeare could write or if it was somebody else. Mm-hmm. There's really great British character actors everywhere.
This is true.
Given funny shit to do. It's just the right length. And I don't know. I really, really enjoyed it. It's not better than
Saving Private Ryan.
Thank you. I want to say St. Elmo's Fire. I'm like, it's better than St. Elmo's Fire.
It is way better than St. Elmo's Fire. Put that on the poster for Shakespeare in Love.
Yes. I just pictured like I was going to make fun of it like we did with
Crash
and American Beauty, because I'm just like, it's shite. I mean, but this is also a movie that the only Miramax could make at that time. And with that cast, I mean, it had what they would do is, I think this movie came out like in December, like on the coast, and then it was nationally released, right? And Miramax had a budget for advertising that was second to none. They had their ads running everywhere in all the papers, and they made sure that their cast was on all the talk shows. It was a machine. And, Steven Spielberg's kind of like, yeah, I got this movie that freaks people out and upsets some people. And, they got post-traumatic stress disorder. Like the older people couldn't see it. But it's one of those things, like, it's not medicine, but you do need to see it because you do need to develop empathy for things that happen in history. And this is just a rom-com. I mean, basically, it's a romantic comedy, Shakespeare in Love. And I think it has the right ending. I like endings when they don't get together. They kind of like, this was fun, but now I'm going to go on to the next thing. But I loved you. It was great.
I have no issue.
Bye.
I have no issue with the ending at all. It's the other reason. By the way, we originally were going to do Driving Miss Daisy, but we don't think this is the right time for that one. We will get to that one eventually, because that one is totally ridiculous. Like, thank you, African American man, for teaching me about racism. Kind of like it's all through the white eyes, the white perspective. It's like, nah, we don't want to watch that one yet. This movie to me also has like Harvey Weinstein like all over it to me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's distracting.
In that way, it is distracting. And I think it's a good example of how crazy powerful he was.
Yeah.
In the late 90s, that he could basically bully this movie into winning Best Picture.
He did that every year with their pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted every category. He wanted the best foreign film. He wanted the best everything. Golden Globes. He had that kind of power. This is a great, fun movie. It deserves to be watched. It is just not one of the greatest you're going to see that year. You know what I mean? But after I think for me, because I knew about Miramax and I was like working in the film industry at the time, I was like, I'm not going to watch it. It's just and then when I did catch it, I was pleasantly surprised. Like, it's very good. And Hollywood used to make more movies like that were romantic and funny and had a good cast. And I miss that. I want to see more movies like that are for grown-ups to enjoy. But there is that stain of Weinstein there. Like, I wonder if like what the nudity she had to do, like how much is that
right?
He made, I mean, they're portraying passion, which I get, but I wonder how much she had to negotiate.
Yeah, I know.
Because now that we know about him, I'm sure she said like, okay, I'll show this breast, but not with that or something. You know what I mean? You have to, that was just there are tons of scenes in this movie where they're just like doing it and reciting lines to each other, and she's topless a lot, and I also wondered about that. And at the time, so he's the head of Miramax at the time. So I read that it actually, when it won Best Picture, he like got up on stage and like accepted, and people were like, you're the studio head. Right. Like, that's like not a thing that studio heads do. Like, that's for the producers, like not the studio heads. And it was just like, because he wanted it so bad. And it's so Harvey Weinstein. He's so gross. And I also don't want to insinuate in any way whatsoever that comedies do not deserve Oscars, because they absolutely do. And they're tougher than dramas.
For sure. And I was thinking about our episode on The Apartment, which also won for Best Picture back in 1960, and what an awesome movie that is. And it is also funny, but goes to dark places. And I'm fine with that. Like, Annie Hall won in 1977. I think this was the first. Shakespeare in Love was the first comedy to win since Annie Hall. Mm-hmm. Talk about a problematic movie. With creep fingerprints all over it. I would love to see more comedies nominate or win. That would be
I think it should be a category.
Yeah, why not? Why shouldn't it be?
There's a drama category and there's a comedy category. Like, why do we not separate them?
I'm all for it.
Because then they would work harder at getting better comedies out there.
Totally. One of the things we talk about all the time on this show is comedies that don't have jokes. Mm-hmm. It's like, where's the jokes? Give us some jokes.
Right. Liven it up for us.
I know. I'm like, what else? I wanted to give we talked about Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck and Gwyneth Paltrow were dating at the time, which a lot of people don't remember. I think they think of her and Brad Pitt. They think of him and like J-Lo. But there was a time when there was Ben Affleck and Gwyneth Paltrow. They were a hot and heavy for a while.
They went to someone I know grew up in LA. They went to her wedding.
Oh, really?
And I know. And I was like, and what was he like? And she goes, he was a mess. He was kind of a jerk. This is a long time ago, but yeah. I said, well, what about Gwyneth? She goes, oh yeah, she could be one too.
Yeah. And you're all right. So that's not surprising.
that tracks. That tracks. But she's beautiful in this movie. She's great. The hair just makes me swoon. Mm-hmm. The outfits that they put her in, the costuming is perfect. I think Judi Dench, man. I mean, she's just fucking. And Jeffrey Rush, I forget about him. I forget just how funny he can be. And I liked like theater being down and dirty.
Yeah,
I did. I don't know why. It was a win for me. I mean, I what can I tell you? I enjoyed it.
I'm glad.
I related to Shakespeare when he's like, where are my pages? And he just kind of shrugs his shoulders and literally runs in the other direction. Like, I cracked up. I'm like, that's me.
I'm glad you liked it. I really, like I said, I liked everything around it.
Yeah. It's not
he
a 10 out of a 10.
not for me.
Right. I'm not saying it either. Right. But the character bothered you.
Yeah, he annoyed me.
Gotcha.
But I like Gwyneth Paltrow so much in this movie that I let a lot slide. Why is it when Gwyneth Paltrow puts on a British accent, I'm all in?
She does it super well. It looks like that's how she should be talking.
I get that must be it because Sliding Doors, which we've done an episode on, is one
Great
of my faves,
movie.
and she does the accent there too, and it's 100% believable to me that she Emma. That's another movie that she's so good in.
Beautiful. She's great.
She's so good in that. I haven't watched the new Emma. Did you watch it?
I didn't like it as much.
Oh, okay.
Emma's kind of an annoying character.
She is. She's a busybody.
She's a total busybody. She's a yenta. She's got to be in everybody's business. And it's a fine line with her on making her likable. And I think they did it a little too much for me, a little too screechy, a little too. Okay. I mean, I love the actor that plays her. She's in the Queen's Gambit.
Yes. Shit. What's her name? I forget.
I'm blanking. Yeah,
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay, because she's excellent, but it was just a little too arch. It was just a little too edgy for me. I like the Gwyneth Paltrow version. I'm a big Emma person.
Yeah.
There's a BBC series for Emma that was out like 10 years ago.
Oh, I never watched that. I should watch that. I would love it.
That's my favorite. Oh, it's so good.
Because I love the BBC version of Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, well, that's like next level awesome.
I know, right? That's like chef's kiss. The actress is Anya Taylor-Joy.
Thank you. She's really, I love her.
Yes.
I think she's super talented. The production, I just wasn't a big fan of.
Okay. I won't rush out to it. So, like you mentioned, Daniel Day-Lewis was offered the part. Apparently, Ben Affleck was also offered the part of William Shakespeare, but did not want it.
Why not?
I don't know.
And he's great as Mercutio.
He is.
Mercutio, yes.
He does a really good job in that small part. It's actually because Ben Affleck was a star, but he wasn't like Ben Affleck like at the time, I feel. So it was kind of a nice touch. It was a good choice. Russell Crowe apparently was offered the part and turned it down. I'm like, that wouldn't have been right.
No.
No. And then the other ones are Jude Law. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And then the other one is Kenneth Branagh, who I'm like, well, wouldn't he have been too old?
He would have been way too old.
By the way, I love him. And we did an episode on Dead Again. We could, we love him, but I think he would have been too old for that part.
Yeah.
And then for women, you mentioned Julia Roberts. Kate Winslet was offered the part. And I'm like, she would have been great too.
She would have been beautiful.
And then the weird one was I read Jodie Foster.
Too old.
And I was like, yeah, right? Like, I guess if you're going to do Kenneth Branagh, then you could do Jodie Foster.
But they're supposed to be playing teenagers because Romeo and Juliet are like 13 and 15. So no.
Yeah, that's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear about the other, like the top 10 movies of 1998?
Of course. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, we have we've never done a 1998 movie, I don't think. So I could actually do the top 10. So number 10 was Lethal Weapon 4.
No. I'm anti Chris Rock now, so.
Yeah, it's just not a good movie.
No, it's terrible.
Shakespeare in Love was number 9. Pretty impressive considering it came out in like December. And like you said, it's a romantic comedy. Like they don't make movies like this anymore. Number 8 is Dr. Dolittle.
I've never seen that.
I don't think I saw that one either. Number 7 is Mulan. I'm like,
I didn't see that.
I'm like, it's fine. 6, Deep Impact.
I love Deep Impact.
I know, me too.
I super love that movie. It's cheesy as shit, but I fall for it every time. I love it.
I think 97, 98, we had 2 asteroid movies. And we had 2 volcano movies.
A lot of disaster films in the 90s. Yeah, because the new century's coming up.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah.
5 was A Bug's Life, which is the second Pixar movie. It's fine. It's fine. Number 4, There's Something About Mary.
I loved it at the time. It's there's a lot you wouldn't be able. Let's just say you wouldn't do today.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be allowed to. But I actually went to a screening of that, and Robin Givens was sitting near me.
Oh,
and she loved that movie. She was laughing so loud that, like, me and my friend Erin, like, she kind of made it enjoyable for everybody because she was so into it. But I really did like that movie back in the day.
I did too. I imagine it has not aged well, but
we should probably cover it.
We probably should. I really laughed at the time, and I remember. So everyone's gonna crack up. I saw this with my mom,
of course,
and after it was, and she laughed throughout the movie. And when it was over, she said, "I can't believe these are the same guys that made Fargo." And I was Mom, that's the
wrong brothers.
That's the Coen brothers. This is the Fairley brothers. They made Dumb and Dumber. And she's like, "Oh, I get it." It's so funny. It's like, "Oh, Mom, you're the best." Number 3 is Godzilla.
No,
not good. Number
not
2,
good at all.
Saving Private Ryan, and number 1, Armageddon.
Really?
Yes, Armageddon. That movie was huge.
They were, yeah. You know what? We liked those movies back then.
Yeah,
we should probably visit that one too.
Yeah, I have to say I did not like Armageddon at the time.
I like Deep Impact better of the two.
But I bet if I watched it now, I would have a lot of fun and be like,
or
we should do both.
Yeah. A double feature.
Writing it down.
I think they're both super watchable. It wouldn't be painful to watch them, but I think there's a lot we could talk about.
All right. I'm writing it down. I'm literally writing it down. Okay. Cool. Do you have songs for me?
I do. Sorry. It's like you shook me awake. Okay. These are the top songs, January 1999. That's just when the movie was national. Sugar Ray, Every Morning.
I know.
Ray.
Sugar Ray.
Ricky Martin, Livin' La Vida Loca.
Dude,
Remember that?
Oh, God, you couldn't get away from that song.
No. Will Smith, Wild Wild West.
That movie was not good.
Terrible. Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way. One of the best songs ever.
I love that song. I love it.
And the group Len, Steal My Sunshine.
Okay, I super love that song too.
Me too. Foo Fighters, Learning to Fly.
I love the Foo Fighters.
Love the Foos. And my last one, I love this song. Ben Harper, Steal My Kisses.
That song is so good.
It's so sweet and fun.
It is. I love that song too. That's a good list.
Thank you.
What else are you dorking out about?
Well, I don't know. Did I mention to you on this show, Stars in the House?
No.
So Stars in the House is a YouTube channel, and it's Seth Rudetsky, and I'm blanking on the name of his husband. I'm so sorry. They started over a year ago. They put together these Zoom calls and presentations, and they put theater people, and they had like the original Carrie. Carrie was a musical in the 80s. They had that original cast. They just did a show with the original cast of ER, and George Clooney was there, and Julietta Margulies. They had one for Little House on the Prairie, and they had all those people. They had a 30-something one. They have one for, I think they did Hamilton. They do it for like Broadway shows and musicals, but just things that were popular in pop culture, just TV shows that had a really big impact. And they're all done for different charities. Usually it's for the Actors Fund because they haven't been working in a year. It's been really tough in Broadway. And if you love performers, it's really fun. It's free. You go to their channel, Stars in the House, subscribe to it. There's like over 100 shows there. And it's every kind of movie and genre you could think of. And but you can obviously you could donate to charities if you're looking for something with a personal touch. Like, oh, I love Little House on the Prairie, and they're like, it was just really, it's really good. It's something they've done to give people something to look forward to watching during the pandemic. And I saw the one this past week for ER, and I've met George Clooney. He's like the nicest guy. He's so grateful for his big break on that show. And he was real friends with the cast. You could tell they really loved each other and were grateful for the opportunity, which I always love to hear. I like, you know what I mean? When people are gracious about their fame.
I was so hot for George Clooney back in the day. When he was on ER.
He's charming as shit.
Yeah.
I met him around 98 or 99.
Oh my God, he was like the hottest.
It was the hottest. I'll send you my picture with him. He was so nice. We were doing a cocktail party, and it was a fundraiser. And he was with John Cusack, and they hung out with us when it was over. And he just asked us questions about our lives and what we were doing and stuff. And he wasn't like hitting on women or anything. He was just genuinely just a charming person. And one of the nicest people I met in the business.
I love this.
Yeah, he's great. He deserves to be George Clooney. That's how I put it. He should be George Clooney because he appreciates what he has and where he came from, and he really tries to do good. And there's not really any scandals about him because he's smart. He's not stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another movie that came out in 1998 is Out of Sight.
I love that movie.
I fucking love that movie.
That is a dope film.
He is so good in it. And
With
Jennifer
J-Lo.
and J-Lo. And I'm like, it might be, I think, one of her best performances. Like she's really good. She's really good in Selena, and she's really good in Hustlers. Like
yes.
But and they are fucking fire in that movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, now I need to watch Out of Sight. They're so good.
Yeah. If you've never seen it, it's a hot movie.
Yeah. Don Cheadle's in that one too, right? Is it Don Cheadle? And Steve Vaughn. And Ving Rhames.
So. And Ving Rhames.
I love Ving Rhames.
It's just fun to say his name.
It is. I watched a movie on Netflix I was going to ask you about. Did you watch Moxie?
No. What's that?
It is directed by Amy Poehler. And it's based on a young adult novel about this girl in high school who just kind of discovers feminism. Basically, she becomes really feminist. Like a new girl comes to school and they just kind of instantly click over like, why do the guys get to decide everything in the school? Like the football team in particular, they kind of like harass the women. They rank all the girls in the school by how hot they are. And there's this like shitty sexist dress code where like girls can't wear tank tops, but dudes can walk around with no shirt on. And she discovers like her mother's old feminist zines from the 90s. Zines,
Aww.
By the way. And she's totally inspired. And her mom is played by Amy Poehler. And she just becomes very inspired. And so she starts putting out this zine called Moxie. And the girls in the school start taking the school back. Just being like, no, you can't like slap my ass. No, we won't be ranked. No, like just standing up for themselves. I actually think it's a really good movie. And it's perfect for teenagers or preteens. I will say the lead girl is very good. I forget her name. I'm really sorry. And she has like a bunch of supporting cast friends, and they're all people of color. And I kind of wish that the lead wasn't a white girl and everyone supporting was people of color.
Right.
Like teaching her about feminism and racism. It's like a Driving Miss Daisy situation a little bit, I guess, where I'm just like, there's a new girl who comes to the school. I feel like she would have been the natural in on this movie and the natural lead, and I don't know why. But it's based on a book, so whatever. I can't like rewrite the book. But I actually think it's really good, and it's on Netflix. It's an easy watch. It's
Wait, that should be for book versus movie, maybe.
Oh, There you go. You should do it.
I'm going to write that down. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah,
That's one of my other shows.
I think it's a good movie. It's really great for, between 10 to 16. But I'm not those ages, and I still really liked it. So definitely check that one out.
Oh, awesome.
Are you excited for the Oscars, or do you not care this year?
I don't give a shit. I mean, I'll be checking my phone, and when certain people if certain people win, I'll be really happy about it. I hope Minari does well.
Yeah.
I really loved One Night in Miami. I wish it had more awards for it. The Promising Young Woman, I hope that does really well. There's movies I'm rooting for, but it's so different this year that I probably won't.
I am always so into the Oscars. Like, I always have an Oscar party. I make Oscar themed food. I invite people over. We fill out ballots. I'm so checked out this year. Like,
everyone is.
And it's not even a fault of these movies. It's just
they're really good movies.
Because they are really good movies. And
Nomadland, I didn't mention that. Yeah, that's a good movie.
That's a good movie. I think I've been thinking a lot about the movies that are nominated, and some of them, like Promising Young Woman, is so good. And I'm like, I hope that wins at least like a screenplay award, right? And then I'm like, Riz Ahmed in Sound of Metal.
So good. Such an amazing performance. And then I forgot the movie Soul.
Yes.
For animated films. I watched that like 5 times. I love that movie.
It's so good. Minari is so good. I'm just kind of browsing through here. I mean, there's some really good nominations here. Judas and the Black Messiah is nominated.
I haven't seen that. Is that good?
I thought it was good.
Okay.
I liked it. I think the performances are really good. It's Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out are both nominated. I think they're both really good. By the way, they're not supporting. They're the leads of that movie. I don't know why they're in the supporting category, but whatever. Sacha Baron Cohen is nominated for Trial of Chicago 7.
I was watching that the other day at the hair salon. We could watch on our iPads, and he's so fucking good in that movie. He's a foot taller than the real Abby Hoffman. Like, that's like, because he's a gigantic man. And Jerry Rubin, who stands next to him, they should have picked a taller guy just to kind of balance that out better. But anyway, that was a really good script. That was really a tight movie.
Yeah, I think Chadwick Boseman is nominated for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and he'll probably win.
Yeah.
I didn't make it through the movie. I started it, and I was like, it was no offense to him. I was kind of bored. So,
yeah.
And Mank, I didn't even bother because
Mank is so fucking, I got through that one. But that was one I really had to grip my couch. Like, okay, just one more hour, you could do this.
I couldn't do it. I didn't watch The Father yet. I would love to see Maria Baklova from Borat's subsequent movie film. I thought she's nominated for Best Supporting Actress. She's funny as shit in that movie.
She carries that movie.
She does. I'm like, if we want to talk about comedies winning awards, she would be a great one. So yeah, Soul is nominated. Onward was also really good, but Wolfwalkers is beautiful to look at. That's an animated
I couldn't get through it.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I liked it. I was, I had to stop watching it for some reason. Then I tried to get back into it, and I was lost.
Oh,
I should go. I know it's Irish too. I should be totally into it. It should be my jam. But
yeah, I like that one a lot. And of course, Nomadland is really good. And I don't know. It's probably going to win a lot of stuff. Frances McDormand will probably win some stuff.
It was funny because I think it was Adam. Somebody was talking about poverty tourism, like that story. And my friend Martha was the trainer for the author of that story. And she really did travel with those people. Like, that truly is a subculture. I think there's getting some pushback. Some people are giving it pushback thinking like it's a romanticized version or whatever. But I heard from someone who talked to her while she was putting the book together. Like those things really happened.
Yeah.
Like there are people like that. There are people that just are nomads. They don't want to be settled down. Yeah.
I really like Nomadland. I thought it was it's beautifully shot. I think Frances McDormand's really good in it. I thought it was very interesting. I think it's telling a story that we don't normally get to see. I really like the movie.
And the direction is beautiful.
Yeah, and Minari is also really great.
Yeah.
Another one, like a story we don't normally get to tell. It's really cool. There are 2 women nominated for directing this year. That's fucking dope. That shit never happens.
I mean, it's also like, how sad is that? That like in my lifetime. Yeah. This is the first time 2 women have been nominated.
And then, I'm looking at documentary feature, and there's some really good ones in here. If you haven't seen Crip Camp, it is on Netflix. It is excellent. It is about like basically how the Americans with Disabilities Act all started from like a summer camp. Like all of these kids went to they were all like special needs kids, went to like a summer camp for kids with special needs, and they all took what they like learned from each other there, and they in various aspects got the Americans with Disabilities Act passed. It's pretty cool. Like they grew up to be like lawyers and activists, and that's what they did. That's
amazing.
Yeah, it's a really good documentary. But also, My Octopus Teacher is nominated.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
And that one's really good too. And it's got an octopus in it. So, like I said, I'm gonna watch, but I'm a little checked out this year.
Same.
What are you gonna do? Where can people find you on the internet, Margo?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Brooklyn Fit Chick, and my blog is brooklynfitchick.com.
And if you like the sound of our voices, you can also listen to us at What a Creep, where we talk about creeps. And then we end every episode with someone who's not a creep. Of course, because we don't want you to be depressed. And you can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and sometimes TikTok. Sometimes. Because I like to ruin it for the kids. Dorking Out Show, if you email us, dorkingoutshow@gmail.com, we'll send you some stickers. And when I say we, I mean Margo. Margo will send you some stickers. And they're really, really cute. They're so cute. And if you want to go on Apple Podcasts and give us a review, that would be a good review, please. That would be super helpful. It helps us find our people.
Yes, it does.
And this was really fun. I'm super glad that you liked it. Like, obviously, it's way more fun to talk about a movie when you actually really like it. I mean, it's fun to talk about it when you hate it too. But
yeah.
But I'm glad you liked it so much.
I really did. Am I going to watch it again? I don't know. But I super, super enjoyed it. It's if you haven't seen it in a while, check it out.
All right. Well, goodbye, my love. 1,000 times goodbye.